Hi. How do we create new trajectories for relationships that seem to be going sour? This is a really great question because many of us encounter people who seem to have triggers with you or have personality clashes. And we often find that the world is a place of disharmony in our own personal experience when we're clashing with others. Now, I used to teach groups of disengaged job seekers, and I did this for a little while, and I would teach 3-week courses, and I would teach fundamental job seeking skills and emotional resilience skills so that these people could have a better chance in life, could go and get a job, could feel more empowered in their lives. Now, these kind of classes were often filled with all sorts of interesting personalities. And I say interesting because it was usually a theme of victim consciousness. Now, these were people who were receiving government benefits. They were accustomed to a different kind of existence that more involved struggle. Now, I won't go into, of course, how we develop a lens of perception of the world that the life is a struggle, but of course it does stem from childhood. But suffice to say, these classes were filled with people who saw life as a struggle and who felt like they were victims. And so you would have addiction problems, you would have people with learning disorders, you would have people who were struggling in abusive relationships. And it was often very difficult to create a cohesive environment when I was teaching. It was a wonderful challenge for me, and I learned a lot. Now, one thing I did notice is on occasion, quite often actually, I would get a student who was difficult, who had a clash of personality with myself or everyone in the room, who really didn't want to be there. And that's the other thing with the program I was running. A lot of these students didn't have a choice. So you can imagine they didn't want to be there and they didn't choose to be there. And so that was the other challenge. It was creating a cohesive environment where everybody was comfortable and safe enough to open up to the learning that I was imparting to them. But also it was making sure that there wasn't any uncomfortable disagreements in the room or basically challenging conversations that would create disharmony. And this was kind of common. And so, yes, occasionally we would get these people and I would feel concerned. I would have my own little battle of struggle. Being my natural personality is very kind of gentle and friendly. And I had to learn a lot of assertive skills that I might not have needed before in my life. And I'm grateful for that as well. But I would go home from a new course, and question what I was to do with this one person that was causing all sorts of disharmony. And I was still practicing meditation and surrender back then. And I would go into meditation and I would call on the higher self of that person to come join me. And this was inspired by Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian style of forgiveness. And I would bring them into my presence and I would ask them very authentically, genuinely, I would ask them for their forgiveness. Now, I was coming from a position of, I have sent ill thoughts towards you because I found you difficult. So therefore I judged you. And I created this energy between us and a connection between us simply because I chose to judge you and I chose to see you as something difficult in my experience. And so in this meditation, I would actually ask for forgiveness. Please forgive me for these ill thoughts that I had towards you, the energy that I sent from my being to your being. Please forgive me. And then I would ask, once I had that forgiveness and I would feel that peace start to become present, I would cut the cord. So that's a very common spiritual practice, but it's very significant. It really creates this clear visualization an energetic transformation, that you are no longer connected through that field of judgment and attachment to what that person represents, that avatar, because really we're judging the human, the body and the mind of that human, not the multidimensional aspect of them, not the pure loving awareness of them that they really are. So we're seeing the illusion and we're reacting to that. And so in this beautiful meditation, I would let go of all of that. And I would ask to be forgiven. And then I would bless that person. And I would just, through the divine flow, ask for that blessing to travel through me and be part of that person's experience moving forward. And that isn't my own judgment of what they need, but whatever the divine thinks they need and knows they need. And then I would say, please go in peace. Thank you. I love you. And I genuinely would see that pure loving awareness that is the real them in that experience. And of course, that changes everything when you go through the motions of that beautiful process. You come out of that meditation and you feel differently towards that person. And a burden is lifted off your shoulders. Now, that's a spiritual exercise, completely energetic. Now, in the physical world, I would go back to class. I would go back to ready to face whatever the divine has for me. And often I would find that that difficult student had dropped out of class. And this happened many times. It gives me goosebumps. It's amazing. Or something had changed within them. And so I began to see the value in the process of surrender and looking at that person from through spiritual eyes, seeing their true nature and letting go of all of the other stuff, all of the illusion of the body and the mind and the judgments of that. So this is something I want to share with you to encourage you. If you're having trouble in your relationships, if there's someone difficult in your life, try that. Go into meditation, call on their higher selves, ask to be forgiven. It is about you. This is your experience. It's not about judging them. This is how you react, how you perceive. What level of perception are you seeing others on? This is a wonderful exercise to help practice and build that muscle of seeing others for who they really are, not for their avatar. And when we truly see the beauty in someone else, that multidimensional, pure loving consciousness, we truly see that, they feel that too. And they are transformed by that divine flow between. I've seen it over and over. So try this today. It really works. It's beautiful. And watch your relationship dynamics change in your life for the better. You'll be amazed what divine has for you. Heavenly solutions, miracles, unlimited possibilities you wouldn't even see. So if this is encouraging, please like, subscribe, and share, and have a beautiful day. See ya.